A peasant can do more by faith than a king by proclamation. Flavor text of Angelic Blessing. There are a variety of gods found dotted throughout the multiverse. For any given world, it seems, the divine operate differently from any other examples. On the world of Theros exists a pantheon of gods that are tied to the starry realm of Nyx, a demiplane that is subtly affected by the beliefs of mortals. These gods are powerful, distant beings who each represent different concepts. There is little beyond the reach of the gods, who can empower mortals with their blessings, or turn them into demigods, craft weapons capable of great destruction, or even create new life out of the very essence of Nyx. This is all possible because the mortals of Theros believe it to be possible, a fact most of the gods have forgotten. In the distant past, the devastation caused by the Titans led the people of the world to channel their energy, their faith, into the realm of Nyx, creating the first of the gods to fight against these monsters. Eons have passed since the sealing of the Titans, and as mortal belief changes, so too do the gods, with new members emerging or being lost to time. Now, these gods are largely aloof, believing themselves above their mortal supplicants. The complicated nature of the realm of Nyx means that a great deal is possible on Theros. Mortals can ascend to full godhood, or new gods can be created out of nothing. Inversely, gods can be weakened if enough mortals believe so, even to the point of being imprisoned themselves. While Theros may have the largest known pantheon in the multiverse, it is not by any means the only one. On the desert world of Amonkhet exists a group of giant-sized humanoids adorned with golden animal masks, the gods of the trials. Each of the gods of Amonkhet embody one of the virtues their society favors, and each stands as judge over the trials of Naktamun. And while they do not command immense power like the pantheon of Theros, Amonkhet's gods are still physically impressive and magically gifted, being nigh immortal beings that stand as defenders of the world. While the people of Amonkhet and the gods themselves had long believed the gods to be a creation of Nicol Bolas, in truth, these gods are tied to the very ley lines of the plane itself, being embodiments of the mana of the world. In the past, 8 gods made up the pantheon of Amonkhet, but when Bolas arrived to supplant the system of the trials, he abused their connection to the ley lines to control the gods and warp their minds, even changing the aspects they represented. 3 of the gods were remade into the dragon's weapons, while the other 5 were put to work overseeing the trials, which the dragon also twisted to serve his own vile ends. By the time Bolas's plans on Amonkhet reached fruition, most of these gods were slain, with Hazaret being the only god of the trials to survive. The Amonkhet gods exist as extensions of the plane's ley lines, much like the elementals of Zendikar. While this is conjecture, it may be possible for the gods to reform in time. On the many-realmed world of Kaldheim, we see a very different pantheon of gods. Known as the Skadi, these gods have a human appearance, with the only indication of their status being the light of the cosmos that shines from various parts of their bodies. The Skadi appear to be immortal thanks to drinking a special elixir created from the World Tree. This formula slows their aging and is the source of their powers, but it does not truly elevate them to greater heights of godhood. The Skadi can still be defeated in battle, imprisoned, or even slain. The Skadi rose to prominence in recent centuries after defeating the previous pantheon of gods, the Ainir. In their new position, the Skadi do not embody some grand concept like the Theros gods, nor do they possess immense physical power like the gods of Amonkhet. They spend their time traveling the realms of Kaldheim, spreading their legends and deeds as they go. But with the death of Esika, the only one amongst them who knew how to make the cosmos elixir that maintains their immortality, perhaps the time of the Kaldheim gods is coming to an end. Elsewhere in the multiverse, gods exist even without pantheons to unite them. On Kamigawa live the mysterious and ever-present Kami. While not gods in the strictest sense, several Kami are subjects of worship and, like the Theros gods, these spirits are connected to the very essence of the world, being born in the realm of Kakurio. Anything that can be has an associated Kami. These spirits are the manifestations of objects, locations, concepts, and, on occasion, even individuals. The greatest of the Kami, like the Myojin, can personify things like mana itself, with each of the Myojin embodying all that is possible within their respective colors. And the greatest of the Kami, formerly Okagachi, now Kyodai, represents Kamigawa itself, wielding all the power of the entire plane. On Innistrad, there exists a great many cults paying worship to a variety of demons and monsters, yet still, the greatest religious institution remains the Church. This religion formerly worshipped Avacyn, the Archangel. Though she was not a god, Avacyn was the symbol of mortal worship across the plane, and her presence alone empowered the magics of her faithful, helping to defend them against the terrors of the night. After the madness and death of Avacyn, as well as many of the angels, the Church now turns to Sigarda, who stands as the last great defender of humanity on Innistrad. Ravnica has a few different religions, each seemingly conflicting with one another. The Church of Orzhova practices its own greedy religion, yet has no formal god that they venerate. Meanwhile, the Rakdos cult seems dedicated to entertaining their demonic master, one of the strongest of his kind in the multiverse. The Gruul pay reverence to their god, Ilharg the Raze-Boar, and believe that it will manifest at the end of days, bringing about the end rays that will finally tear down civilization. And then there is the secretive and often forgotten cult of Yor, which worships the Nephilim, strange and abhorrent monsters from Ravnica's distant past. These Nephilim returned after the dissolution of the original Guild Pact, causing great destruction throughout the city before, ultimately, being destroyed. While New Phyrexia has a complicated relationship with their accidental creator, Karn, The original plane of Phyrexia is one that was wholly dedicated to its lord and master, Yawgmoth. Initially a surgeon from Dominaria, Yawgmoth's plans eventually led to him gaining access to the plane that would become Phyrexia, and in it, he gained power until he became its nigh-invincible god. Across the blind eternities on Dominaria, there exists a multitude of faiths, each worshipping different deities. Some of the more notable examples include Gaia, a nature goddess with faithful found all over the world, Svailun, the goddess of the merfolk from Vodalia, and the Lady of the Mountain, a dwarven goddess. However, perhaps the most notable of the gods to exist on Dominaria was the manifestation of the plane's very mana, the being known as Corona. Though she is called a false god, Corona is perhaps one of the mightiest examples of divine might found in the multiverse. As the very incarnation of magic itself, Corona's powers were virtually without limit, as she was capable of anything her worshippers believed her to be. Twice has Corona manifested on Dominaria. Once, in the distant past, she was the accidental creation of the warring Numina, who barely a year later would set aside their differences and sacrifice their very lives to slay her. More recently, Corona was born thanks to the simultaneous deaths of Akroma, the Angel, Phage the Untouchable, and Zagorka, a refugee caught in the crossfire. This reborn Corona wreaked havoc on the already ravaged region of Otaria. A valiant last stand led by Kamal and the reborn Numina to stop her would have failed had it not been for a timely betrayal by those she considered most trustworthy. As the manifestation of Dominaria's magic, Corona may yet return in the future. There are many more beings scattered across the blind eternities which could be classified as gods. World souls, for instance, can be the subject of worship on whatever plane they manifest on. Creatures of the blind eternities, such as the destructive Eldrazi or the mysterious Merit Liege, can also find themselves amassing worshippers wherever they may end up. And finally, it should be remembered that once upon a time, planeswalkers wielded far more power than they do now. Prior to the mending of Dominaria, planeswalkers were more in touch with the multiverse, their sparks burning so much brighter. Back then, planeswalkers were indistinguishable from true gods, with their only limitations being their knowledge and access to mana. While some planeswalkers preferred a more humble lifestyle, others, such as Serra or Freyalise, embraced their godlike nature, and Nicol Bolas, in particular, reveled in the power he possessed and, after losing it all, made reacquiring that same divine majesty his highest priority. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, then why not leave a like or share it with a friend. If you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell, you'll receive alerts whenever I upload new videos. This was a general overview of the various gods of the multiverse of magic. If you want a more in-depth discussion on the gods of Theros or Avacyn from Innistrad, a link to those videos will be in the description below. And if you'd like me to go into more detail about any of the gods mentioned here, or any that you think I may have missed, please let me know in the comment section below. Finally, this video is brought to you by my wonderful patrons, who help keep this channel afloat with their donations and in turn get access to all of my lore videos early. If you want to help me out, then head on over to Patreon to support me. A link will be below. Thanks again, and have a great day.